Good morning, children. In yesterday's session, children, I discussed with you the shape of orbitals or the subshells and their orientations, and also discussed the basic differences between the orbit and the orbital. So I hope you are clear with it, and the difference between orbit and orbital is a frequently asked question also. And F orbital, the shape of F orbital I did not consider because this I told you in my earlier lectures also, that F orbital has a complex shape. Okay, so it cannot be depicted on the sheet, so it is not even given in your books also. So the shape is complex if it is asked, though it is not even asked in your exam. So whenever you get it in your test, if anyhow you get it in your test or exam, you simply need to mention that the shape is complex, so cannot be drawn on the sheet. So it is a complex geometry, actually complex orientations of the lobes which cannot be shown. That is why F orbitals you don't have to do. Now we have learnt enough about the structure of the atom, the modern structure of the atom. We learnt about the various rooms present inside the atom where the probability of finding an electron is maximum and is minimum, and where the probability of finding an electron is zero. Now we have to understand the rules, we have to learn about some principles that is needed to be followed when we are filling the electrons in the various shells and subshells and orbitals in an atom. Because children, now we will be proceeding towards the electronic configuration, which is an integral part of class 11's chemistry, and obviously this chapter also, because till class 10 you whatever electronic configuration you used to write was in the terms of shell only. Like if you have this atom sodium with atomic number 11, how will you write its electronic configuration? The electronic configuration will be 2, 8 and 1. This indicates 2 electrons in K shell, 8 electrons in L shell and 1 electron in M shell. Right? So in this type of representation we only considered the shell and the distribution of electrons in the various shells or orbits. But now since we are aware that an atom does not only have a shell or orbit, instead it has subshells also, and those subshells has orbitals. So we have to now go into some more details in order to understand the filling of the electron. So before moving to that part, I am telling you about some important rules and principles, which is also a very important part of this chapter and also a frequently asked question. The first one is Pauli's exclusion principle. What does this law state? The law says, or the principle states that in an atom or molecule, no two electrons can have the same 4 electronic quantum numbers. That means when you are talking about 2 electrons in an atom or a molecule, it is impossible for those 2 electrons to have all the 4 set of quantum numbers same. One or the other quantum number will be different. Now let us understand it with the help of an example. If suppose you have 3D2 representation, 3D2. Now first of all let me explain you that what does this mean. It means that this electron, the electron is present in third shell. Children, very important concept, please listen to me carefully. 3 indicates the shell in which the electron is present. This is principal quantum number. D indicates the subshell where the electron may be present. Okay, and this 2 indicates the 2 electrons. The 2 electrons are present in this 3D orbital, right? So what happens if you are writing the electronic configurations for these 2 electrons, or you can represent it as 1 plus 1. There are 2 electrons. Fine. So for the first electron, if I say the value of N is 3, then the value of L, what will be the value of L in case of D? It is 0 for S, 1 for P, so 2 for D, right? Now you have to come to the value of M. For D it is 5, right? Again for the second electron, this is for first electron. Now coming to second electron, the second electron is also present here only. If the value of N is 3, obviously because this electron is also present in third shell, it is also present in D subshell, and the value of M will also be 5, right? Now when we talk about these two electrons, if suppose I have to represent the orbitals, D has 5 orbitals, 1 2 3 4 5, these are the 5 orbitals. Again in this case also the orbitals will be 5, 1 2 3 4 and 5, right? Though the case is same, these two electrons are consisting of the same system. That means this is also same and this is also same. So obviously this will also remain same. But we are talking about 2 electrons. So 2 electrons means if one electron is present here, the other electron will be present in second shell. Now from second orbital. Now from here the difference arises. Now when you designate the values of these orbitals, it will be -2, -1, 0, 1 and 2. So for this particular case the electron is present in -2 orbital, and for this particular case the electron is present in -1 orbital. So this is where the difference exists. The difference between the two electrons exists. Now if I talk about the spin quantum number, because both are in parallel, you can see because they are present in separate rooms. So for this also it will be plus minus half, and for this also it will be plus minus half. So the value of M, number of orbitals are same because both are present in D subshell, but the value of M are different. Now you will be able to understand this in a better way when you learn the second law. Basically the Pauli's exclusion principle says that no two electrons in an atom or molecule can have all the 4 set of quantum numbers same. It is impossible for this to happen. Suppose you have 2 electrons in an atom. I am talking about sodium atom only. One is present in 2s, another is present in 2p. Now to make it a little simple, the value of N is 2. Here the value of N is 2. The value of L is 0. The value of L is 1 because it is P. And suppose other values remain same. More than 1 quantum numbers can be different. But in no case all the 4 quantum numbers for any 2 electrons present in the same atom or molecule can be same. It is impossible. Okay, you can see the difference here. This I took in different subshells, right? But in this case I showed you the closest proximity. The closest possible existence of 2 electrons is this only. And in that case also you can see that there is difference. So it is not possible. If suppose I am considering one more case, if suppose in case of any orbital, okay, the 2 electrons are present in the same orbital, then their spin will be different. So in that case, if the value of S for one is plus half, then for the other S1 will be plus half, S2 will be minus half. Why? Because one is parallel, then other is anti-parallel. And you can mention this also, children, that 2 electrons in an orbital orient themselves with opposite spin. Why? In order to prevent the repulsions between the 2 electrons for the sake of stability. In order to remain stable, they cannot exist like this. It is impossible. They cannot exist like this. They will always exist with anti-parallel spin. This is also asked as a question, right? Now coming to next rule. Next rule is Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. This rule is also very simple. This rule says, the rule states that for a given electronic configuration, if two or more orbitals of equal energy are available, electrons will occupy them singly before filling them in pairs. Okay. Now if suppose in simple language orbitals are to be occupied by electrons, then in that case the electrons will occupy each room singly and then the pairing will begin. For example, if you remember children, I told you the d orbital at the max can have how many electrons? 10. But it can have 0 to 10. The range is 0 to 10. It can be as less as 0. It can be maximum to 10. Right? Because it has how many d orbital? D subshell has how many orbitals? It has 5 orbitals. I hope by now you must have learnt it. That means each orbital has 2 electrons. So total electron holding capacity is 10 electrons. Now you have to show the filling of 8 electrons. This superscript with any subshell indicates the number of electrons. Right? If suppose you have to show the filling of 8 electrons in the third shell, in the D subshell of third shell, then how will you represent it? D subshell means it has 5 orbitals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, how can you do the filling of these 8 electrons? Most of you will follow a method like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. This can be one of the method of filling the electron. Now another method. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? You can compare the two cases. In first case, you showed the filling of electrons in pairs. Like one room was occupied by 2 electrons, then filling of second room occurred, and then third, and then so on. But in this case, what did I do? I filled in each orbital with 1 electron first, and then I showed the pairing. This is the wrong method. If you are doing like this, it will be marked wrong. And this is the right method. This is what Hund's rule state. It says that when you have to show the filling of electron in any subshell, in any subshell, then what will you do? You'll first show the filling of electrons singly, and when all the orbitals will be occupied, then the pairing will begin. So this is what Hund's rule says. So you can write down the language from here. Okay, these are the way, this is the language of Pauli's exclusion principle, and this is language of Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. So before I proceed with Aufbau's principle, there are a few more important points that I'll be telling you. So I hope these two are clear, children. Okay, now next is energies of atomic orbitals. Okay, these are some basic things that I'm telling you before moving on to the writing of electronic configuration. If you want, you can note it down. In case of F orbital, there are 7 F orbital. In case of F subshell, each with shapes more complex than those of d orbitals. Therefore, it cannot be mentioned here. It cannot be drawn here. Now, energies of orbitals. You have learnt this before also, children. With the increase in the value of n, that is increase in the value of n means increase in the value of shell number. What happens? The distance of the shell from the nucleus increases, that is the atomic radii increases with respect to that particular shell. The energy also goes on increasing. So you can say that 2s will have more energy than 1s, 3s will have more energy than 2p, and 3d will have equal energy as 3p because they have the same value of n. So the energy depends upon what? Energy depends upon the shell number. In this case, 4s and 4p will have equal energy. Why? Because both have the shell number as 4. Similarly, 4p and 4s will have the same energy as 4d, which will have same energy as 4f. So the energy of an electron depends upon, or the energy of an orbit depends upon the orbit number. As the orbit number increases or the shell number increases, what happens? The energy also goes on increasing. Okay, and this type of shells having same energy are called degenerate shells. The term degeneracy means having same energy. So you can see here, it is just a representation to explain you in a better way. In this case, when you are moving from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, okay, 1 2 3 4, what is happening? Energy is increasing, and I told you this earlier also. Stability is inversely proportional to energy, so stability will increase in this way. So when you are near to the nucleus, when the electron is near to the nucleus, it is more stable and have less energy. But as the electron moves away from the nucleus, the energy increases and the stability goes down. And this type, all the subshells present at the same energy state are termed as degenerate orbitals, because they have same energy. This is known as degeneracy. This is 1s, this is 2s, 2p having same energy, degenerate orbitals. 3s, 3p and 3d are degenerate orbitals. 4s, 4p, 4d and 4f are degenerate orbitals. So degenerate orbitals are what? Having same energy. Example, 3s, 3p, 3d. Okay, all the orbitals having same energy. Ground state has less energy, high stability state, and orbital near to the nucleus. Example, 1s. Whereas excited state means high energy, less stability state. Example, 2s and 2p. I hope it is clear, children, because these terms degenerate and degeneracy will be frequently used, so I want these terms should be clear to you. Now one more thing, energies of orbitals is given by Bohr-Bury's rule, or simply n plus L rule. Bohr-Bury rule, B-O-H-R Bohr, B-U-R-Y. Bohr-Bury's rule, or simply n plus L rule. So if you have to compare the energies of two orbitals, this is 4s orbital and this is 3d orbital. What will you do? You will add the values of n and L, and then compare the two. The one which has higher value of n plus L will have higher energy. So in this case the value of n is 4, and for S the value of L is 0. So n plus L will be 4. For 3D it will be the value of n is 3, for D the value of L is 2. So the sum will be 5, right? 4S has lower energy than 3D, right? I hope it is clear. Similarly, if you compare 2P and 3S, 2 plus 1, P means 1, it will be 3. 3 plus 0, it will be 3. So these two are having same energy. When n plus L value same for two orbitals, then the orbital have lower value of n has lower energy. Therefore 2p has lower energy than 3s. Are you getting it? So when the value of n plus L will come out to be same, as you can see here, in this case the value of n plus L is 3, the value of n plus L is 3. Now how will you find out that which one will have lesser value of energy? In that case you will compare the value of n. Here the value of n is 2, here the value of n is 3. The one which has a lower value of n will have lower energy. You can read it here. When n plus L value is same for two orbitals, then the orbital having lower value of n, mark it as the keyword, the lower value of n has lower energy, right? So in this case 2p will have lower energy. Now moving on to Aufbau's principle. You can write down the language today, children. I'll explain this to you tomorrow. Filling of orbitals follows. When you have to write down the electronic configuration, you need to follow the Aufbau's principle. It states the electrons are added one by one into the various orbitals in order of their increasing energy, starting with the orbital. Correct? So the electron filling in the various orbitals takes place in order of increasing energy level. To understand this in a better way, children, you have to follow a strategy which you can understand following this. Okay, so you can again go through this language first of all to understand it. The electrons are added one by one into the various orbitals in order of their increasing energy, starting with the orbital of lowest energy. Okay, starting with the orbital of lowest energy, as you can see here. Now this is the you can say crux of the rule that we have to follow, that we need to keep in mind when you have to show the filling of electron. This I'll explain you in the next class. Till then you keep on revising the previous topics, so that when I explain you this filling of electrons in the various energy levels, you can better understand it. Thank you for watching the video. Take care.